This story is from a deleted account on Reddit, posted 12 years ago. It says, a few years ago, I was walking through the woods off the beaten track a bit, and I smelled this really overpowering sweet smell. Being nosy, I pulled back the undergrowth to have a look, and I found a dead body. The guy had clearly been there a while and wasn't looking great. All swollen and green and black with various runny bits. The local wildlife had also been dining well for a few days. I called the police, who told me to wait with the body until they arrived. Being in the middle of nowhere, it took a while for them to arrive, and it got dark, and I was just sat there in the dark with him for a long time. It turned out he had committed suicide. For a long time afterwards, I had dreams about him, and he would talk to me, and not nice things, mainly about how he was angry I had disturbed his resting place and he wanted me to myself. Probably just my imagination, but all pretty disturbing at that time. He still turns up in my dreams from time to time, and no doubt will be tonight after typing this. Mind you, this post is 12 years ago. Someone asked, "Holy shit, smells sweet." The owner of the post said, "Difficult to describe, sort of like rotten lamb. People say that a rotten body has a very distinctive smell, and I can see what they mean." Someone else said, "Yeah, rotten meat has a very sweet smell. It's almost food-like, in a way, like curry or sweet or sour or something." This comment is really disturbing. Like, how can they know how a dead body smells exactly? This is really interesting. One comment said, "I was actually told by many of my older relatives that the saddest thing about suicidal deaths or whatever is that when the people die and they are discovered, they came back to hunt those who discovered them or random people. During this process, they consciously try to convince those people to do the same and kill themselves to follow the dead, as I was told. Very freaky, and this is happening to you, and you are able to think almost nothing of it. Yeah, it's the first time I hear something like this. I'm speechless. What do you think? Have you ever smelled a dead body? Is it really sweet? If anyone knows anything, please tell me in the comments. I once sat across from a guy who told me about his girlfriend, him cutting her into pieces and boiling her head. He explained why he killed her and wished he could talk to her parents so they could understand that what he did was a good thing. I sat with him for 45 minutes as he went into details. It was the most surreal 45 minutes of my life. Source: worked in a max security mental health facility. Oh my god, thank God. I'm glad it was a mental health facility because I thought like she met him like in the subway or bus station. That's crazy. 45 minutes listening to a killer describing how he killed and cut his girlfriend. My grandmother swore by this story till her dying day. It was during the war in London, and my dad was a baby. She was bombed out of her house and was staying with a friend. The friend had set her up in a room on the top floor. Anyway, she was taking my dad upstairs to bed when a strange figure on the stairs telling her not to sleep in that room tonight. She knocked back downstairs and told her friend that she and my dad were sleeping in the same room that night. Her friend was annoyed but agreed. That night, a bomb exploded near the house and the roof caved in, right on top of my dad's cot. He would have been that night. Wow, this is insane. But the weird thing is that she didn't describe that figure exactly. What do you think it was? Oh my god, the next one is so scary. I can't imagine myself being there. One of my friends had a job in the hospital looking after patients, making beds, etc. I heard he randomly quit his job. Wouldn't talk to anyone about it. I bring some beers over to his house and try to see if I can get him talking. He is a total emotional wreck. Finally, get him to talk, and he says that he was working one night in the hospital when he heard the nurse shooting for help because someone was going into a cardiac arrest. So he runs down a hallway and some man runs towards him. They almost bump into each other and the man shoots. Where is the exit? My friend bounds to the exit, then runs into the room with the man going into cardiac arrest. Okay. Only to see it's the exact same person who ran past him in the hallway. He died in front of his eyes. Wow. I hear a lot of stories like this in hospitals. There are. I'm speechless. Hey, if you like horror, true crime, and real-life creepy stories, this channel is for you. Subscribe to Tea Time for more videos like this. We post every week, so make sure you don't miss any of them. Oh my god, listen to this one. You never know who is the person next to you. My uncle was in a bar one night and started talking to this random guy. He described him as a nice guy. He met him a few other times in the same bar. They drank and talked about random stuff. Soon after, my uncle stopped seeing the guy at the bar. Totally normal. I don't know how long after, but my uncle got notified that he had jury duty. He showed up and found out what is for. A serial killer. And the killer was his friend from the bar, Derek Toddley. My uncle was promptly dismissed from the jury duty for obvious reasons. Oh my god. He was friends with a serial killer. And he didn't even notice about it. Many experiences, but I will tell you one that freaked me out because I wasn't the only witness. I was about 12 years old and I was talking with my dad in his room. My mom was in the closet with the lights off, but we could clearly see her folding clothes. I think it's like a dressing type of closet. Well, during me and my dad's conversation, he had asked my mom to do something, but no reply. He eventually got to the point where he started to yell. I got up and stepped into the closet, but then I heard my mom walk into the room and ask why he was yelling her name. I looked at her and she had a towel wrapped around her. I quickly looked back into the closet and saw nothing. Absolutely nothing. This obviously creeped me and my dad out. Wherever we saw, it wasn't my mom. Whatever it was, it had her shape and even her bun. My mom always had her hair in a bun. I would have completely thought this was my imagination if it weren't for my dad also being there and seeing it too. If this one scared you, you're not ready for the next story. My brother used to have an imaginary friend, and he would always play with him. But sometimes he would say, "Stop, leave me alone," or "No, I don't want to go to my room to play." My mom would ask him, "What's going on?" And he would say, "He won't leave me alone." Of course, my mom had no idea what he was talking about and thought it was just him being a kid with an imaginary friend. Well, a day after my brother's birthday, he had these balloons. And keep in mind, my brother is just a kid and he is obviously not tall, so he couldn't reach plates, knives, forks, etc. It was around 10 p.m. and my mom heard the balloons pop. So she went outside and my brother looked really scared. So my mom asked him, "What happened? Did you pop the balloons?" And my brother said, freaking out, "No, it was him," pointing to his imaginary friend. But my mom obviously didn't see. My mom saw the knife next to the balloons and immediately knew that he was too short to reach any of those things. So she said, "Get out of my house," to my brother's imaginary friend. Since my mom couldn't see him, she asked my brother if he left already. He said yes, and he thanked her. Later, about 10 or 15 minutes, my cousins came over and my cousin said that he saw a woman in all white with her hair in front of her face, in the front door. My brother said that was his mom, and she opened the door. My cousins were already inside and asked my brother if she was still there, and my brother said yes, and that she was mad. She started to yell for her to get out, and then she asked my brother if she was still here, and he said no. My brother is now 19 and says he still sometimes sees him in his mirror. Damn. It happened when I was 11. I was a bit of a problem child then, and I had a habit of staying up at night. One night I was sitting in my room. My room is located so that if you open the door to my room, you can see a long corridor in our house directly from it. This corridor is so long that no lights enter it at night, and so I'm sitting in my room and drawing something in the album. At some point, I turn to the door and see something standing in the corridor, similar in height to a child of 8 or 9 years old. And this something was on this long red bag. At first, I did not understand what I had just seen. I began to blink, rub my eyes, do everything to unsee it. But it didn't go away. And then the thought, what if it doesn't seem to you at all, flashed through my head. I had no idea what to do. I just turned to the table and tried not to think that this something was actually right outside my door. I did not hear any strange sounds, only the sound of my heartbeat. At some point, I heard steps somewhere, far away in the corridor. I did not dare to turn around. It turned out that my mother woke up. She came to my room and scolded me for not sleeping. I have never seen anything like it. I still don't know what was it. Do you guys think this was a ghost or something else? This story is for people who love gaming. So, a while ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was gaming as per usual. I was a big competitive gamer then. I played all the big competitive games, Rainbow Six Siege, Valorant, all of that. This time in particular, I was playing Rust. During this session with my friend, I ended up another player with a lot of stuff. This player ended up DMing me where my base was. I taunted him instead of telling him. The player then sent a message with my full name and a question, where is your base? And then, after I didn't respond, he sent a picture of my dog. One that I had never posted since I was a very not social person with not many friends. I immediately reported the player, in which he was banned only for a week. A week. If you are already scared, back off, because you're not ready for the next story, okay? And if you are enjoying it, subscribe and let's dig in. I'm not posting this to scare anyone. I just need to put this somewhere because it's been stuck in my head for years. If anyone experienced something similar in this area, I would love to hear about it. This happened when I was about 18 or 19. It was a summer night, probably late July or early August. It was warm out, so a friend and I had gotten into the habit of driving around late at night just to talk. We would do loops outside the city, the kind of quiet, empty roads that cut through the French countryside. No real destination, just driving and talking. Windows cracked, music low. This one night, it was around 1 a.m. The road was completely empty. No street lights, no visible houses, just open fields on both sides. We were going slow, maybe 50 kilometers an hour, talking about something personal. And then suddenly, my friend hit the brakes. He didn't yell or panic, just a sharp, reflexible stop. And there, in the headlights, I saw a man crossing the road. He came out of the field to our left, walking towards the one on the right. What immediately struck me was that he was completely naked. His skin was an oddly pale, flat beige, almost like a dull gray. But that's not what stuck with me. It was the way he moved. He didn't walk like a drunk or someone hurt. It was more like he didn't weigh anything. His steps were slow and floaty, almost like he was forcing his body to move forward. His arms hung loose, his head tilted slightly down. He never turned towards us. No reactions to the lights, the sound, nothing. He crossed slowly and disappeared into the field on the other side. We were silent for a couple of seconds. Then my friend muttered, "Was he naked?" We drove back towards the main road, not saying much. I wasn't scared exactly, but I felt this deep, uneasy knot in my stomach. Like what I saw didn't make sense. Not just the man, but the entire moment. The next day, out of curiosity, we went back in the afternoon. We recognized the spot easily because of a twisted tree by the roadside. But when we looked around, there was nothing. No trail, no path, no house nearby. Just two big fields and the same quiet road cutting through. I had no rational explanation for what we saw, but I know what I saw. I know it wasn't normal. Okay, this is very disturbing and I don't recommend for the weak. My mother worked in a prison with the VP wing when I was younger. She worked in the education depth rather than as a guard. I remember her stopping my sister and I from having our hair in ponytails for a while, making us wear it down and never really got why. As a tomboy, I hated it, so she let me have it cut, and that was that. When I was older, she explained that a new inmate was in for his 5 years old daughter, with a beer bottle, which broke, and he let her bleed out and then rolled her into a carpet and put her in the attic. He was discovered trying to move the body. He liked to talk about his girl sometimes, how pretty she was, and how he loved the back of her neck. How little girls with their hair up was what turned him on. How delicate it was. How he could grab it, etc. She couldn't cope seeing us with our hair like